Priest right here.
It does say Priest right there.
But we're going to start off with Shaman versus Paladin. It looks like that mid-range version of Paladin we're kind of used to seeing. And I mean, there's the tip-off that this is N'Zoth's Paladin.
Yeah, I mean, the Twilight Summoner. Just a 1-1 for 4 mana. Just a 1-1.
You just Earthshock it.
Yeah, easy game.
Very easy game.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, when it dies, it summons a 5/5. That's what that guy does.
Now, Forbidden Healing is a card that it's kind of hard to cast against Shaman, but if you get to the point where you can cast it, you are golden.
Yeah. It's not a golden Forbidden Healing, though. Argent Squire looks like Totem Golem here for Idyllic. Just going to crash in for some damage and put Prelude on the back foot early on. And not really any strong answers here, just hero power. I mean, moving close to, he's got an early board clear here with the Wild Pyromancer and Equality, but it's not really the kind of turn you want to be casting on sort of a mediocre board.
Yeah, we saw Prelude keep the Equality in his opening hand, so obviously values that early board clear, really wants to get it, realizes he's not going to be, keeping up on board against Shaman. I mean, I think a really important card that he wanted was Doomsayer, but even then, I mean, can you really find time for Doomsayer against Shaman? In this board state, it would have simply been answered.
8 damage crashing in. Prelude, like we mentioned, on an early back foot here.
Yeah, just gonna clear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really blame him for this. I mean, this is just a lot of damage to be facing down. Yeah, just go ahead and full clear it. Idyllic, board reset, Master of Evolution. I'll tell you what, Chillwind Yeti's still pretty good though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it feels a little bad, but probably just Yeti it out there.
Doesn't really have much of an option. I mean, you take a look at the early turn he just had, plus the way his hand is constructed. He is clearly the aggressor in this situation.
Oh yeah.
He's got to get going, and he's got to get going soon. And that might be an opening for Prelude here.
Now,
Just do Doomsayer.
to me, it looks like kind of an aggro Shaman build. I mean, we do see the double abusive Sergeants, and the way he played really was, knowing his place of, I'm going to try and kill my opponent.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it was just aggro, but we are seeing more slower cards. I mean, Thing from Below and Master of Evolution are some kind of mid-range cards, so maybe, I'd almost call it hybrid, but more just an aggressive mid-range Shaman.
I mean, can't trade off the Doomsayer here. And if his build is in fact more aggressive, this is not the kind of play he wants to be making. But given that he has the Thing from Below, that he's choosing to use the Master of Evolution this way with the Rock Fighter, this tells me that I expect the build to slow down pretty considerably afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some Shaman lists that seem similar to this, and they usually curve out to about 6 mana and just have Fire Elementals at the top end.
Yeah.
Not opting to go into like Alakir or any of those really late game cards because they're just not mana efficient for the damage they deal. Oh wow.
That's a big pickup right now for Idyllic. I mean, this is looking like Doomhammer Abusive Sergeant just starts smorking. I mean, this is pretty much just unchecked by Prelude right now.
Yeah, you see a little smirk on him. He's like, thinks for a second. He's like, yeah, I'm Doomhammer.
Yeah. Let's set him to 8 with 10 damage on board.
Yeah, and this is a situation where you look at it and you're like, Forbidden Healing's good, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Wild Pyromancer Forbidden Healing for
Yep.
8, go to 16, go to 18, drop to 14, kill off the Master of Evolution. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Would you ever consider Doomsayering? You'd give up on 4 healing. You deny a little bit of board. I probably wouldn't, but
I mean, there's like too much damage on board, I think, to really be concerned with it.
so he's gonna hold it. Yeah, he's gonna go for this. This is really playing with fire,
I mean, there's a single point of damage will kill him at this point.
and there is a single point of damage.
Yeah,
so.
Abusive Sergeant, that's going to do it. Idyllic locks up a very quick game number 1 here with some early strong curve into some strong 4-drops into Doomhammer. And I'll tell you what, that's usually enough to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see what Prelude was going for, though, was just, Doomsayer proc and then a Forbidden Healing for like 14 might be enough to bring him back in. But yeah, the Doom Hammer on 6 with the Abusive Sergeant was so much damage.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't blame him for taking that mistake there. Like, after he saw the aggressive early opener, he saw Master Revolution, and he saw Think from Below take place. So because of that, he's getting this kind of hint that his deck's going to be a little bit more the mid to top end than it would be just pure burn. So how much damage is actually left in the build outside of that?
Small thing is that if you can kind of pay attention to where your opponent's cards are coming from, he would have known that that Abusive Sergeant had been in hand since turn 1.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something situational. Maybe it's Earthshock, but you know it's not Earthshock from your Doomsayer going off, or rather being Rockbiter down. So, yeah, I mean, I think a small mistake there, but definitely a risk that he wanted to take. Go for that huge Forbidden Healing, go for the Doomsayer proc. Just didn't pan out.
I mean, if he gets that turn, he's looking in a fantastic shape.
Yep.
So can't blame him for that one. But a quick game 1 over to Idyllic. So that's going to lock up his Paladin build. And looks like he's rolling with Warlock and Shaman afterwards. That can't be – the priest just can't be right on that.
Why not?
Well, Idyllic just won the game.
Yeah, with Shaman.
No, you're right. He did win with Shaman.
Yeah, stop, man.
Today,
He's got
man.
Priest.
I'm insane today. Warlock's going to be his next choice. Zoo build it is. We've been seeing this deck pretty much all day long.
Yeah, and it has been performing.
To say the least.
Has it lost?
Yeah, it's lost a game.
Oh yeah, it lost to Rogue.
So Prelude's got that Doomsayer in the opener. That's 2 Doomsayers at that. Such a good card versus Warlock.
The tech I've been using, predicting the Doomsayer meta, is actually Crazed Alchemist. That is actually an answer to Doomsayer, and it's also an answer to Darkshire Councilman. Yeah, turn it into a 5/1, trade your 1/1 into it, go.
Works pretty well.
Pretty solid.
You can even just use it on your own Councilman.
Jam them.
Get him for 5. It'll be a 5/2 afterwards. It'll even get buffed from the Crazed Alchemist.
Yeah, not sure if
it'll be a 6/1 actually.
Not sure if Idyllic's got those cards in here, but might be going through some rough patches with these Doomsayers.
Flame Imp's going to be the lead here. Now this is going to be a key turn. Yeah, Prelude's just going to go ahead and play the Doomsayer.
Oh,
I don't blame him for this. This is a 1-for-1 trade. It buys you some tempo, and you have a second Doomsayer to keep going. So Solemn Vigil for 3 on his next turn. It's looking so good for him right now.
Yep. And I mean, it's got to just be a tap here from Idyllic. Nothing else going for him.
I mean, no real other play. I mean, certainly the Dark Peddler Battle Cry doesn't mean that much to you.
Yeah.
Forbidden Ritual, I'll tell you what, doesn't match up very well versus Mad Scientist.
Yep, and this is going to proc the Solemn Vigil effect, letting Prelude get that off on turn 3. Pretty much exactly where he wants to be, where, like you said, it was a 1-for-1, and the life tap's going to let Idyllic get extra. But Solemn Vigil kind of brings that back and puts Prelude back into the card war.
No fantastic options here for Peddler.
I'd probably take Hungry Crab and hope my opponent plays a Murloc Knight.
I think I'd take Lowly Squire.
I hope that Murloc Knight comes flying off the top.
You're reaching for the stars there. Yeah, like the coin, of course. Second Peddler gonna be the option here.
Oh,
definitely take Bloodstone Corsair.
That one's really good against Paladin.
Not a bad draw.
It's no Murloc Knight.
Be perfect on this board. Be threatened by the 2 minions he has. Potential of my opponent's taking a Hungry Crab from a Dark Peddler.
You know, let's not discuss it.
I like second Doomsayer.
Yeah. I mean, you know, your opponent didn't have anything to answer the first one. He's got roughly the same power on board as he did then. And as we see now, nothing.
Tap into a power overwhelming. But that seems
Would you
pretty
use
bad.
it?
No,
I wouldn't. Yeah.
And this is the kind of situation you're going to get into a zoo when you no longer have an Nerubian Egg, as Doomsayer is going to be ultra powerful.
Man, he couldn't even go for the Knife Juggler Tentacle Kobe.
It was impossible. Second Doomsayer goes off. But that's a corrupted heal bot for Prelude, so he's got a lot to fight the board with.
Yep.
And this is, the Paladin is the deck with inevitability. If the game goes long enough, the N'Zoth will land, they will have everything on board. They will kill you.
Yeah, and I mean, not a lot of cards answer Imp King boss efficiently, but there is one.
His name is Stampeding Kodo.
Now, it's going to be a 50-50 if he goes for it. So, probably not that thrilled.
Yeah, honestly, at this board state, I'm thinking Faceless Summoner and Hero Power might just be better. I mean, you're at 23, you've got Consecrations, you've got Humility Kodo for a Sea Giant if the board gets clear. I think it's smooth sailing.
I'm going for the Kodo.
Just ripping it?
Yeah.
Say, let's go.
Well, I'm going to trade first, but then I'm going to Kodo.
Real men Kodo first.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, you could take out the Lowly Squire.
But why would you?
Why not?
Because you can just... Admiral's looking at me like I'm some kind of idiot. Like for...
Consecrate is totally acceptable here.
Yeah, this might even bait Idyllic into going for, you know, more board development, expanding really wide, and then getting punished by this second Consecration.
Knife Juggler Forbidden Rituals looking really tempting.
Yep.
I'm not going to blame him for this. It's no implosion, but
I mean, you always roll 4 here.
there's always a chance that he just misses the Wild Pyromancer too.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, it's not
Lucky.
going to full clear.
Unlucky.
Wow, what a turn.
Just rips the Consecration.
I mean, there's no thought to it here. This is the reason you made this play.
Yep. And a lot of damage crashing in. It's not quite a 2-turn lethal. It's only going to be 11. But that does mean no tap, no Flame Imp allowed for Idyllic.
This is looking rough. I mean, just had no opportunity to really get a lot of strong value this game. Just kind of played minions. They got answered.
Yeah. I mean, as far as where you go from here, looks like he's just going to go wide with his board, play as many things as possible. That's going to result in his death.
Flame Imp that will deal him that fatal damage effectively. That's True Silver from hand and Corrupted Healbot. Corrupted Healbot connects for 12 and doesn't heal. This card is looking so good. I'm in love with Corrupted Healbot now.
You're in love with it?
You know, I hated Antique Healbot, but I love Corrupted Healbot. He's come to the dark side, and I love it.
You know, I'm down with that.
I love it. Prelude's going to take game number 2 here. Tied up at 1 game apiece. This Paladin's going to be locked. Shaman for Prelude is locked. And so Warlock Warrior versus Warlock and what Chalky believes is Priest.
I don't believe, he literally, like, this is his handwriting. He wrote Priest on this piece of paper.
I'm going with the overlay. And I'm pretty sure the overlay said Paladin.
Scam odds.
So we'll see what's coming up for game number 3 in the meantime. But kind of, honestly, the Paladin decks have been performing fantastic so far as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we have not seen the Paladins miss a beat.
It reminds me of anything can happen. I mean, N'Zoth is going to end the game.
Not immediately, but
Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, if your opponent can kill you next turn, boo-hoo. But if they can't, you're not going to beat resurrecting like 2 Corrupted Healbots, a Twilight Summoner, and some more.
And a Tyrion.
Yeah. And don't even think about that, man. If you get that off, you just win.
You will just win a lot of those games, that's for sure. Looks like Idyllic. I'll go with Warlock yet again, and that's a Warlock from Prelude, but that is not a Zoo Warlock. That is Jiraxis and an Imp Gang boss in the opening hand.
Yeah.
Are we seeing a Reno build?
Looks like it. I mean, what else could it be? We saw Alex Straza.
I mean, I suppose there's a chance it could be like a handlock, but Alex and Jiraxis, that'd be a heavy top end.
Reno lost quite a bit in the rotation. I mean, no Dark Bomb, no Implosion, no Healbot, no Belcher, and no Zombie Chow.
Those are very key cards, that build.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be struggling a lot more through this early game. Turns out that just a 2-1 is good enough here. Challenge that 3-2 by, and of course the one of Imp Gang boss that, as we all know, every Reno player has on 3. They're just that good.
In some cases on turn 2. I'm really thinking Forbidden Ritual has to be the play here.
Yeah.
Like you could Knife Juggler and trade.
Knife Juggler trade.
Yeah, it does give you 3 damage next turn. Yeah, I think this is better. Wow. Whoa.
Get him. I mean, I kind of like this too. What's he gonna do? Like, kill your juggler? Boo-hoo. It got nerfed anyway. I don't want it.
It wasn't even nerfed, Chalky. Don't be ridiculous.
It's the lesser power of the 2.
That means I'm definitely killing the Flame Imp.
What if he kills the Flame Imp and coins the Imp Gang?
It's not a bad
It's
play.
not
It's
awful.
pretty good. Knife Juggler does not contest certain cards in the same way it
Not
did
at all.
before. I mean, before the Zoo matchup, I felt like was so often decided by player 1 plays Voidwalker, player 2 coins Knife Juggler,
Can't do that.
player 1 cries.
Yeah.
And
I'd honestly trade with the Flame Imp.
no way!
Yeah.
Trading with the Juggler.
Why?
Easy game.
But why?
It's better minion.
Into Imp Gang though?
Yeah.
It'll give you imps.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll kill those imps too.
No. Then it's like the same thing. But it's a 2-2.
That's never happened before. See, look, you're right. If you would have traded into
It would have
the
been
Flame
better.
Imp, he could have had a juggle here. You're right. This is slim pickings Idyllic's working with here.
Yeah.
I mean, Zoo just seems to not have those explosive starts that it once had. You know, it's got a lot of strong mid-game plays, for Zoo mid-games anyway, which is like turn 3, turn 4.
I think the early game is still pretty powerful. It's just definitely lost a lot with the loss of Implosion.
I'm just going to life tap. That's going to leave Prelude up to a few options here. I mean, life tap Moral Coil looking a little appealing.
So it looks like the Leroy combo. This is a greedy list.
Stampede
Leroy
Kodo
combo,
in here too.
Alex Straza, and Jiraxis.
You know, there's a chance that Leroy is just meant for Shadow Flame. That's a real possibility.
I disagree. That's not a chance at all.
I hope that's exactly what it is.
Come on, there's the faceless, dude.
Just gonna faceless that Alex Straza.
Do we literally, like, he's got 3 of the 4 pieces. Does he literally have to draw the Power Overwhelming for you to believe he's playing the bog standard Reno lock?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we've already seen him. He's already pitched away the Abusive Sergeant. How is he ever going to buff that Leroy Jenkins? With Power Overwhelming. I agree. Fine. You win. Twilight Drake in hand versus 4 tentacles for Idyllic. I mean, his hand is looking so good right now. He's got every tool he needs to dismantle. And Hellfire is just so much more powerful than it was before in this matchup.
Yeah. No eggs, no creepers. No Loatheb either to shut it off. You get to play that at the perfect time every game.
Tough turn for Idyllic. No real strong options, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, he can use his buffs to kill off that Drake, but then I mean, it's a slight advantage, but ultimately you're just kind of playing at parity with Reno Lock, which has a much better late game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at too, is how does he actually make headway in this game? Because he's got to deal damage too. If he's not pressuring Prelude at all, he's going to have so much time to find what he needs. Like, there's no way you're going to beat a Reno when you're forced to trade with the Reno deck's minions. It just doesn't work that way.
That's what he's going for.
which I don't blame him for. It's just not a very appealing spot. Kodo is always going to hit that Direwolf Alpha because of its buff, hoisted by its own petard.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I'll tell you what, Forbidden Ritual looks pretty good here.
You just want some 1/1s in your life? Would you take 4 or 6?
6 for sure. I mean, is the average card in your deck worth more than 2 1/1s?
For sure.
For sure, for me. I'm sure that I would take 6 1/1s.
Yeah. Other people have been sure about things and been wrong.
Christopher Columbus, for instance. He was sure he got to India.
Yeah. Well, he's going to take 5. Okay, Admirable?
Yeah, well, I mean, he gets a trade off of it, so this is reasonable. I mean, it plays along with the way Idyllic has been
You
playing
said
the whole
6
game.
for sure.
For me, for sure. Like, if I was in Idyllic's spot, I would have taken the imps. I'm sorry, I keep calling them imps. They're tentacles.
Yeah.
You called them imps, too.
It's tentacle explosion.
It's your fault.
Did I call them imps?
Yeah, pretty sure you did.
I don't believe you.
Maybe I called them imps first. Either way, Prelude, 25 health. I'll tell you
They're
what.
not demons.
They're not demons. That much is for sure. Demon Wrath going to wipe it up.
Well, if our commentary could be any more relevant, I don't know how it could be. Those are, in fact, not imps.
You guys in chat were mocking us for saying that, talking about whether or not they're imps, too. I know it. Don't lie to me. This is brutal for Idyllic. I mean, where does he get back into this game? What does he need to draw?
I don't know. Dr. Boom.
That's unavailable.
Old Murkai is.
Chalky's got an old Murkai from FX and Standard so many times.
And it's been really good every time.
You've won the game because of it every time. Shifter's Eras, Murloc Knight, you name it.
Well, definitely taking his time to think about it. I mean, I think it involves tap, unless he wants to go for just like Brand Gormok, get power on the board.
I don't mind the Brand Defender of Argus either, but
yeah.
I think he wants a little bit more value from it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it sucks that you can't get the Brand and the Gormok off next turn.
Forbidden Ritual joins Prelude's hand as well.
Now, those aren't imps.
7 tentacles could be available to him this turn, though. That's a lot.
You know what else Zoo lost? Enhanso Meccano. That card could be threatening lethal from this board state.
Honestly, when the first time I saw that card get played, I kind of laughed.
Yeah.
And then I saw you play it, and I was like, shut up, that's not a real card. And then you just killed me with it. You're like,
yeah.
Wind Fury, double power overwhelming.
And then I
was
showed
like,
you
I
like
26.
the stats on it, and you're like, oh man.
You're winning a lot with this card. Emperor Thorson. Pretty clean turn here from Prelude for it, but this may be Idyllic's chance to answer back.
That's double Defender of Argus.
That's a lot of power. Oh my gosh, he's running right into Twisting Nether too.
Oh god. Reno players, man. They always have it.
I mean, Prelude, who has pretty much every single step of the way, has had the answer to what Idyllic has thrown at him.
Yep. Now, I mean, there is a lot of redundancy in the answers that it presents, but Twisting Nether kind of does a unique thing that no other card in the deck does. It'll clear any board state.
Yep.
Now, he could be running Doom as well.
I'm going to say that one's an impossibility.
It's a possibility?
Just like you told me that it was impossible that Leroy was there for Shadow Flame only.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's impossible that Doom isn't here.
I'd probably take that bet for some amount of money.
He's going to trade with the Emperor. It's not
Yeah.
often you see a 5/7 void.
I mean, he's already holding the card. I mean, what's there to talk about this turn?
11, 13, 15 points of damage effectively dealt to minions with that card.
Now, he did pick up Psychotron, one of the new Old Gods cards. Kind of the new Sledge Belcher, but definitely not as powerful.
Idyllic still getting a little bit going here, though.
He's getting close to just dying. I mean, he's a power overwhelming away from death.
Tazdingo joins the party as well. That's a lot of taunt.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Just the amount of health it is. It's
Yeah,
9 shield,
9.
it's 9 health. That's at least 10.
What if they have Blood Knight? Then it's only 9.
Never lucky.
Never lucky, I guess.
I don't think Blood Knight's finding its way into any of these builds.
God, I can't wait to prove you wrong when someone gets Blood Knight in some obscure way. Like Jeweled Scarab, and they're like, "No, Blood Knight's pretty good here."
Bran Earthen Ring taunt. Nice little turn there for Prelude. Goes to 25. Feeling safe, I would say. Trying to figure out the way to get the most value from this hand, though.
Yeah, when the rituals are gone, the Councilman's value, or the threat of its value, goes down quite a bit.
So it does have a way to activate Gormok this turn.
Yep.
Sea Giant in hand.
Wow, can he play all that though? No, right? If he Gormok face.
So if he attacks the Psychotron with Imp Gank loss,
Yeah.
he'll get another 1/1 on the table. That makes the Sea Giant cost 4. Plays
Yeah.
the Sea Giant for 4 mana, can play the Gormok.
So many.
But you have to Gormok something.
He can play the Sea Giant first.
Oh, you just don't want to play the Imp Gang. I was asking if you could play all 3.
Oh, no. That's,
Yeah.
that'd be possible.
Yeah.
He's going to take it a I mean, that brand is so scary right now.
Oh, yeah. You're probably Gormoking. Well, you Gormok the Psychotron, obviously, and then you trade with the... I guess you don't have to trade, but like you said, it's very scary. Wow. Gonna leave it up.
Yep, he's going to save the Gormok. Just go with Sea Giant instead.
Doesn't look like a punish. Oh, that's game.
Power Overwhelming gets drawn for Prelude, and that's going to unlock 20 points of damage from hand. The second time we've seen a 20 from hand, thanks to Faceless Manipulator.
Oh, thanks to, yeah. And 4 damage buffs.
Yeah. Hey, let's just go ahead and throw a Forbidden Ritual in there for 1.
That tentacle was MVP.
Just snoozing on the sidelines. So, Prelude, 2-1 lead for him now in this series. Got to be feeling good about that. Warrior is going to be his last choice. The fact that we've seen Reno Warlock, or what looks like a Reno Warlock build from him as well.
All right, Admirable, I literally saw Priest on his computer screen. Do you have any evidence against this?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
He has a Priest deck.
I agree with you now.
All right, cool.
Finally.
Hopefully he plays it. I kind of want to see some Priest.
Back to the point of the Reno Warlock and the Warrior build, the fact that we've seen Reno instead of seeing Zoo, do you think that could ever be an indicator that Prelude is going to slow this game down and bring some build of Control Warrior?
In Conquest, maybe. But, man, that Patron Warrior deck is real good.
It's been looking very solid so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think you're onto something. A lot of players have stylistic choices.
Kind of a Control Paladin as well.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think you could be right.
It's a lot of control stuff.
Yeah.
I do know that when players tend to favor one style over another, especially when there's multiple available builds for the other decks that are also very aggressively oriented, it tends to continue to go that way.
Yeah.
Like usually they'll just keep going the control style. You know what? I want lots of late game impactful decisions to make.
Yeah,
I want the games to be long and drawn out.
I just want to hit him in the face.
You just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
Cairn and Gorehal in hand.
You were right. I'll give it to you.
Ain't no patron today for
Now,
Prelude.
I will say I think Zoo is pretty favored.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to pan out. I mean, if Prelude picks up a Brawl, Brawl's certainly looking a lot better in this matchup than it was before.
A few things I want to touch on about Warrior. There's 2 cards I think could be in there. I don't think both would be in there, but we haven't seen any duplicates. And we saw some interesting, like Cairn tips me off to maybe it's a Reno build or maybe it's an Azoth build.
Well, we have seen that mid-range build kind of creep up lately. I know 6-0 played to rank 1 on ladder, uses Varian.
It's true.
Had Fierce Monkeys in it.
Didn't play Revenge, did it?
Not sure if it did or did not. I think it played 2 Whirlwinds in it.
I don't even know if he played Whirlwinds. I think it was very aggressive.
Karen is also just a very good threat.
It's good now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there's not just a ton of burst damage in the middle of the game, that there's no mysterious challenger being played right now, he's kind of turned into the premier 6 value drop.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, we haven't really seen that many 6 drops from a lot of decks other than Gadgets and Auctioneer.
Well, Sylvanas is very good now.
Yeah, that's another good one as well. What now? You know, but those long, grindy battles, I mean, those are the situations where you'll want multiple 6 drops.
Yeah.
Possessed Villager biting the dust. That's going to be Coin Bloodhoof Brave. This card is so good. You know, I underestimated this card a lot when it first came out. I think this card has been so fantastic in just about every game I've seen it played.
Same. Yeah, it turns out 2/6 isn't that bad of a stat line when you give it taunt and an effect.
Which the effect happens to be make it 5 power.
Yeah, that's a good card. I think we'll be seeing a lot of him.
I mean, this is tough stuff for Idyllic. This situation. Dark Peddler, not really any help. I mean, I'm guessing that.
Looks like he wants to save the Imp Gang boss. Abusive PO. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is a good way to do this too.
I think he's going to make the Imp probably.
Yeah, just keep chipping away.
Yeah.
Get a wider board position. Hope to get an easier Defender of Argus or maybe even a Gormok. Grom joins the hand for Idyllic. His hand's looking a little bit heavy at the moment. I mean, not really any significant options.
Yeah. And
Slam, trade, and then the Revenge, maybe?
Yeah. Looks like a pretty solid line. But I mean, the issue here is the minions from Zoo just don't stop coming. I mean,
if you Revenges, that's like floodgates open for the
I've played some Zoo versus Warrior, and they can have the brawls, they can have the Revenges, but you just keep playing minions.
Never underestimate overwhelming stupidity and overwhelming numbers.
Yeah. Now, if he's gonna go with the Revenge, I mean, you definitely attack into the Dark Peddler, yeah.
So nice board clean from him. He's 1 imp behind.
Not a tentacle, an imp.
Yeah, but it looks like Idyllic. I mean, I'm going. Do you
You're
go 3 or 5 tentacles here? Or just Gormok, I guess.
I really like the 5 tentacles.
It's going to be Gormok and Voodoo Doctor. One not oft seen, but from Dark Peddler occasionally.
It's kind of interesting to think about, like, what are you going into on 5 that you're worried about? I mean, in the old format, we used to be able to definitively say, oh yeah, we're going into Belcher turn, like set up best to beat that. But there really is no definitive what am I trying to beat quite yet. I mean, this Warrior deck, we don't even really know what's in it. It's kind of a question mark.
I'm thinking Defender of Argus is going to be pretty decent here, but I mean, 2 Forbidden Rituals now. You do need to find room to cast these. Yeah, you need to find
a time to cast them. You definitely start tapping now almost every turn, if not every turn.
So this is going to be Defender of Argus favoring the extra damage. I will say the Defender of Argus feels like it's a little bit harder to use than the Forbidden Rituals here.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So we do see 2 Acolytes, so probably not a Reno build.
Just Cairn hit the board. Life total's getting a little bit dangerous. Councilman and Ritual.
I like that.
That's really good right now.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And it's protected at this point too. I mean, Prelude has no answer to this right now.
Prelude has nothing.
That is a 5/5 Councilman. That is not a joke.
No.
Deathwing gets drawn. You know, if he finds the time for this.
You very rarely find the time for it.
That's the problem with it.
And how much damage is this going to be?
It's 11, 15 right now, it looks like. 16.
Yeah, he's got 16 for sure. But there's no real way to gain extra. I mean, he could go for, I mean, he has Knife Juggler lethal if he really believes.
Or the disaster side
Now
of it.
wait a
give your opponent all
second,
the
wait a
cards in the
second,
world.
okay. What if you traded in all your guys and you left up 3-1 health targets and you went Juggler, PO,
I see what you're going for here.
and then Forbidden Ritual, you made 5 guys. The guy goes to 14, guaranteed 5 juggles. The guy goes to, wait, it goes to 15, right? Yeah, it goes to 15, you're guaranteed 5 juggles. So it wouldn't be guaranteed. But there's kind of a cute play here involving trading and then making a bunch of tentacles.
Yeah.
Not going to be what he goes for, though.
Take it slow. No reason to make crazy plays. I mean, I feel like even if this gets cleaned up, he's still in fantastic shape to win. I mean, down to 6 and a board full of minions. Prelude needs something. Oh, that is something indeed. Chalky,
Yep.
I believe that's what we call a huge draw right now.
Yep.
Brawl could potentially bring this back.
He needs that Councilman to not live. All right, there it goes.
Both the acolytes are gone too, as though
1 tentacle reigns supreme.
8, so this is 5. I think this is pretty.
It looks pretty.
This is about as good
lethal
as you're
to
going to
me.
get, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go for it. You only have to hit 3 out of 5. It's a 50-50, right?
That is a 50-50 in that situation, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm liking it.
Even if it doesn't work, you're not left in a terrible spot.
If you saw the opponent's hand, you saw that they drew Brawl as well.
Yeah, you can forbidden. Oh no, you can't forbidden first. Yeah, that's a mistake. Well, doesn't seem like it's going to be very costly, especially because, you know, he didn't hit the juggles anyway.
Yep.
But
Shield block's gotta be a welcome draw right now. Prelude working on pittance for life.
God, he might get to that Deathwing.
I mean, he's got Deathwing next turn. He's got a 2/6 in the way, and he's at 12.
Brand Defender.
He's got to trade in 1 first.
Man.
6,
And then you
7,
PO
8.
another.
He's got 8 damage, but if you brand defenders, I mean, you're tapping first, so that much you do know.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like the play.
If you slam the Deathwing too, you do lose all your cards.
Yeah, you probably get killed by minis. Like, he plays 4 minions, and Deathwing can't kill them all.
He's gonna have to go for it anyway, though.
Well, yeah. Like,
I mean, this is 8 damage coming in this turn.
a Doomguard would just end it at any time.
So down to 4 for Prelude.
Yeah, it's got to be Deathwing.
Oh, the Justicar gets drawn too. I mean, there's no other option. He's not staying alive through anything else. He has to Deathwing to stay alive.
Yep. It's a good Deathwing.
Put your opponent on a 2-turn clock as well. Here we go. 5 cards discarded, but a 12/12's on board. Abusive Sergeant. He's got plenty of damage in his hand. Oh, it's like you said, Chalky. Played
Yeah.
4 minions.
Can't kill them all.
Both Bloodhoof Braves are gone as well.
Yep.
So no taunt available. Still going to be a big draw. Alex Strasza gets picked up for Prelude. He's going to set himself to 15, and he's going to knock Idyllic down to 7. Oh, Idyllic
you go
has
face.
to draw. I mean, what does he need to draw here? 3, 4, 5, 6,
Not
7
flame it.
damage. He needs 8 damage or a way to kill these minions. Or
He
taunts or
needs
something.
Taunt, yeah. Can this get anything?
No, it's
That's
not.
game?
Prelude's gonna win. I cannot believe it. Prelude survives the Miracle Brawl, picks up Shield Block to pad his life total, Deathwing to clear the board, and then top decks Alex Straza to save his life total.